Hello everyone, Daryl the Northern Vinyl Guy coming at you with a new video. And in today's episode, I am going to be entering in a contest here for the VC. And it is for Chris at Stylus Meets Vinyl, a fellow Canadian, lives south of me. He has just reached 1,000 subscribers on his channel. So congratulations, Chris. So happy for you. Hopefully one day I'll be there too. But yeah, for the time being, I mean, this is all about you. So yeah, if you have not checked out Chris and Stylus Meets Vinyl, I'm going to leave you his link down below. Definitely give him a sub if you have not already done so, and check out this contest. So this contest, when I saw it, as a geography teacher, high school geography teacher, and world history teacher, Canadian history teacher, this one here I thought was really cool. It is a 7-continent contest. So basically we are to go around the 7 continents. That includes Antarctica, and show some vinyl records that we have in our collection that may have inspiration, or maybe the bands are from there. He says to be as creative as we possibly can with this, and so I'm going to try to do so with a few of these, and definitely showcase some artists from around the world that I have in my collection. Before I do that though, one of the other requirements to the contest is to shout out another channel here in the VC. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shout out Richard S. He has been a VC member for quite some time, but just recently in the last couple of months has started his own channel. And so I will also be leaving his link down below. If you haven't checked out Richard, he has definitely been supporting my channel along the way. No doubt he will support yours. He loves to leave comments and checks out as many different videos as possible. Lots of support. And if you like 70s, 80s, 90s, that kind of music, Richard is your go-to for that. He's got quite the knowledge, quite the eclectic collection. And so, yeah, I'd like to just shout out Richard S. here in the VC. So without further ado, I would like to get started on the contest. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with Europe, and then I'm just going to kind of go around the globe that way. All right, so starting with Europe, we are going to focus on possibly one of my favorite bands from Ireland, and that is the Cranberries, and this is their Dreams the Collection album. I apologize for the glare, but yeah, no, we lost Dolores O'Riordan a few years ago, but this is all of their great stuff in one album here. So from Ireland, this includes like Linger, it's got Dreams, it's got Zombie, it's got Salvation. So all of the major hits on one album, and that is the label right there. So yeah, if you are a Cranberries fan and you don't want to buy each individual album, I strongly encourage you to check this greatest hits album out. Wonderful pressing and wonderful band. All right, for Asia, I actually do not have any Asian bands in my collection, so I had to be a little bit creative with this one. I don't know how creative this is going to be, but you know, just because it was the first thing that came to mind on this. And I do have the supergroup Asia in my collection. So I hope this counts as part of the entry. I tried to be as creative as I could with this. I do have the band Asia. And if you're not familiar with Asia, they do Heat of the Moment. They do Only Time Will Tell. This is a great album. My copy is a little ring-weared and, you know, got a little bit of, I suppose, water damage cover, but my pressing is really nice. So yeah, if you haven't checked these guys out, they're kind of a super group. I believe members of Emerson, Lake and Palmer and a few others formed this in the early 80s. Yeah, if you haven't checked it out, Asia, that is I believe it's a self-titled album. There you go. Give that one a go. All right, moving on to Down Under, to the Oceanic region. And I have the, I guess you would call it Australian / New Zealand band Crowded House. And this is their self-titled album. They are most famous for quite a few of the songs that are on this album, including Don't Dream It's Over, World Where You Live, and Something So Strong. They are a fantastic band. The Finn brothers, of course, make up the band, or the predominant members of the band. That's a really cool cover. Recently in the VC, we've been talking about seeing a lot of VC members talking about album covers that are extremely boring. I don't think this one's a boring cover. I think this is a pretty cool cover. And yeah, you got to go down under for the cool covers, I guess. So there you have it. Some Crowded House. If you haven't heard those particular songs, World Where You Live, Don't Dream It's Over, Something So Strong, start here and check these guys out. All right. Off to Africa. I have a Ghanaian Nigerian band. The album that I wanted to buy, I guess I grabbed the wrong one when I was looking on Discogs. But the same band. My dad used to have a different album, and that's the band Osabissa. They're like a funky, rockish kind of band. I don't think that this particular album had any major hits. I believe this one is the self-titled one. But on a different album that they did, they had a song called Who's Got the Paper, Who's Got the Match. If you haven't checked it out, it is definitely a unique, eclectic group. If you haven't checked them out, do so. Osabissa, like I said, Ghanaian, Nigerian band. Very funky, very different. I don't want to say that they're psychedelic, but definitely with the colors that are on this particular album. And of course, this is the back. Cool artwork, though. Definitely not a boring album cover. All right, Osabissa. All right, next up, we are heading to Antarctica. And I was trying to think of everything that I could. I had typed in to my collection, I had typed in Antarctica, things like that. I don't have anything dealing with that. And then I do have some bands that are from Greenland. And I was looking it up, but of course, their covers would have things like polar bears and stuff on it. Of course, polar bears don't live in Antarctica. So I'm like, what am I going to do? And then I came across Primus's Tales from the Punch Bowl. And you're like looking at this going, wait a minute, what are you talking about? How is Tales from the Punch Bowl by Primus an Antarctic experience, I should say. And so I thought about it and I go, okay, well, we got the ship here. Most scientific ships are going down to the Antarctic to do, research and that kind of thing. So that was the first thing that came to mind. But then I was like, hey, the inner sleeve of this album has some penguins. And not just penguins, but they are sitting on like an iceberg. And so, yes, Antarctica does have the penguins, and they do have icebergs, and they're definitely on an ice continent. And so I thought Primus's Tales from the Punch Bowl inner sleeve represented this particular continent quite well. And Tales from the Punch Bowl, Primus, if you haven't heard of them, they are an alternative band from the United States, 1990s alt stuff. And this is the album that has a couple of major hits that they did in the 90s. Winona's Big Brown Beaver, South Brown Pachyderm, and the Danza Jig, all on this. And of course, they've got it as the Le Menu of songs. So yeah, that's a dual vinyl record. Very cool stuff. Once again, if you haven't seen it, there you go. The penguins and the iceberg. All right, moving to South America. Now, of course, I don't have any South American bands or anything like that. I mean, I do have Sepultura. They're on CD, but of course, I don't have the cases for it, so I didn't want to have to take them out of my sleeves. That would have been my recommendation, Sepultura out of Brazil. I do have those in, but I do have some vinyl records of which the artists do have some heritage from Latin America or Central America. And so this is kind of a twofer. So first and foremost, I'm going to go with a little bit of Richie Valens and his greatest hits. And yes, he was an American, but his ancestry definitely derives from Mexico and South America. And so I would go with him. Of course, a tragic loss in 1957 in the infamous plane crash. But his famous song, La Bamba and Donna, if you haven't checked him out, definitely do so. It'd be amazing if I could get an original copy of his, but the greatest hits we'll have to do for now. So we got Richie Valens, and of course, if we go with Richie Valens, I mean, we got to go with the soundtrack to La Bamba and the band Los Lobos, who also have South American or Central American ties, heritage-wise. They are also an American band, but their heritage derives from those locations. And of course, they were the band that covered La Bamba and I believe Donna. Yep, Donna and Come On, Let's Go. All Richie Valens tunes for the, what was that, 1980, I think it was 1987, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was 1986 or 87 that movie came out. So there you go. Little Los Lobos and Richie Valens for the South and Central American continent. All right. And to finalize this, we go to North America and a female singer that I haven't really seen in the VC, one of the girl, I guess part of that girl era of musicians from the 1980s, the young, beautiful blonde. And I'm not talking about Madonna, but I am talking about Debbie Gibson. And Out of the Blue, this is the album that has the Out of the Blue song. We've got Foolish Beat, we've got Shake Your Love. So if you haven't checked that one out, like I said, not typically seen in the VC too often, so a little bit of Debbie Gibson right there. I mean, I could have had about 150 choices out of my collection, maybe more, for the United States, but I went with Debbie Gibson just because I do like her singing, and she's not shown too often in the VC, so I thought I would showcase her here. And last but not least, there is a bonus question, which is mandatory for this contest, as Chris from Stylist Meets Vinyl is from Canada. One of the requirements, the 8th requirement, or the 9th requirement, I think it's the 9th one, is to show a Canadian band, and so, or musician. And so I am going to go with the Canadian band The Box. If I remember right, the hail, I think, out of Montreal. But The Box, this is the Closer... sorry, not the Closer Together. This is the, yes, Closer Together. Sorry. This is the Closer Together album. It does feature 2 hits that were popular in Canada in the 1980s, early 1990s. And that is Closer Together and Ordinary People. And it is on the Alert record label. Definitely a little, Canadian rock here. So if you haven't checked these guys out, do so. Check them out. You can stream them or whatever it is. Check them out on YouTube. The Box. Once again, Ordinary People or Closer Together. Great stuff out of Canada. So there you have it, Chris. Those are my choices, my selections for your contest. I hope that they met the requirements, and I am definitely interested in seeing what everybody else comes up with. Like I said, I will leave Chris's video, the original one with the contest, in it down below. I definitely encourage you to check it out and to check out all the other videos that other VC members are making for this contest. And yeah, so without further ado, I hope that you liked this video. Leave me some comments in the section below. And until next time, stay safe, everyone, and we will see you on the flip side.